Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and I hope you're doing well. So I didn't know whether to upload this video or not, but I kind of wanted to share with you that I don't think I'm going to be able to do Vlogmas / Studymas. So if you've seen my other 3-4 videos that I've posted, like the Christmassy videos, I actually pre-filmed them in the last 2 weeks, I would say, and luckily I did, because this weekend on the 1st and 2nd of December I got really ill and I had to go to hospital, and I was there overnight and I got really ill, so I've just been resting and recovering for the last few days. And yeah, it was actually quite a hectic weekend to say the least, but I'm getting better slowly. I've literally just been relaxing and resting, like I haven't been able to eat much, but I'm slowly getting my appetite back up. And yeah, I was gonna try to do like study with me during the Christmas holidays and before exams, and my exams are in like a week, and obviously due to the circumstances I haven't done much revision for it because I've been really ill, so I don't really know what's going to happen with those mock exams. I'm obviously going to be expecting the worst grades, but I know that it's not my fault, and that if I didn't have like the trip to like the hospital and stuff like that, I would have done better. But yeah, I just want to say sorry because I was so excited to do like videos. Like I was gonna vlog Saturday and Sunday, put them together, like of me studying, and like me and my dad were gonna go out for dinner because my mum was away, and yeah, obviously that did not happen. I will tell you the story in a minute. And yeah, I just don't know if I'm gonna upload this. I want to, because I feel like I wanted you guys to know that I did want to film Vlogmas and Studymas, and hopefully next week I will try after my exams, because I finish on the Wednesday. And we were meant to be going to Barcelona and Madrid for about a four-day trip with my mum and dad, but obviously we don't know if I'm going to go yet. We probably will, but it would definitely be a relaxing trip rather than our hectic holidays. And then during the Christmas holidays I'm basically going to be resting and relaxing and catch up on studying, because missing out on 4 days of studying, I would say, has meant so much to me. Like, I was so productive beforehand that I wanted to keep going, but obviously I literally couldn't, and I realised that I do need to like not do as much because I'm like literally stressing out, but I just need to relax. So I'm going to just, during the holidays, take it easy, maybe do a bit of work, but also just have relax and spend time with family and friends. But yeah, if I explain to you the story of what happened, it's so weird because I should be laughing about it, but now I'm looking back at it, it's actually quite funny. So my mum went away to spend time with her parents and my mum's side of the family for the weekend, so it was just me and my dad. And I had woken up Saturday morning at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was feeling so ill. During that night I was shivering, I was feeling like really hot, like I had a bad headache, and it was like hot and cold, and I knew something wasn't right. So I woke up, and I've got my own bathroom, but my parents, this is not my bedroom, this is like the guest room, but I always sleep in here. And obviously my room has an ensuite in it, but I know I don't use it. I went straight to my parents' bathroom because it's like nearest to here. And I went there, and obviously I was trying to throw up, but nothing would come out, and I felt really sick and like I was gonna faint, like dizzy, and it was just horrible. And my dad plays golf every weekend, and he always wakes up really early, I don't know how, and he obviously came into the bathroom and he knew something was wrong, and obviously he was helping me. And then what happened was nothing was coming out, and then I went back to bed, but then I remember going back into the bathroom and then falling sick everywhere, and it was just horrible. Like, oh, it was so bad, and it was the worst thing ever because like part of it would come out, part of it wasn't, and I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but like it was hard to breathe as well, and it was just horrible. And then I ended up going back to bed for a bit, but I couldn't sleep properly, and we thought having water would really help because maybe I was dehydrated, but all the water kept coming out throughout the day. I would fall sick a lot, and I kept throwing up, and whatever I ate, even when I had like a piece of orange, it just came out, and it was to the point where it was just really painful as well. Like my stomach was feeling really weird, and I got to the point where it was in the evening and I still kept throwing up water, liquids and fluids, which was really weird. And the neurologist I'd seen 2 weeks ago for just a general appointment, because I'm having an MRI scan in 3 weeks, said that if any weird things happen, I need to go see the doctor. And obviously falling sick like a lot like randomly, it was just very weird. So that's when my dad decided, we were like, we need to go to the hospital, to A&E. But the reason why I find it quite funny is because we were downstairs and we were watching Casualty, and it's like mine and my dad's like one of our favourite programs, where it's obviously to do with the hospital program, and obviously it's set like through an A&E department, and that's why I'm laughing, because it just made me laugh how we were just watching that and I had to go straight to hospital. But the A&E, so we got there at 10 o'clock I would say, and obviously I was still really like sick. And then when you do, like, I don't know if this is with all hospitals, but our local A&E department like / hospital, when you go there, when you say your name, you then have like a small initial thing where, and I don't know if she's like probably a nurse, and they check your heart rate and temperature, and they check the severity. So in our A&E department it's split as urgent care and A&E. So the urgent care is just more for things like aren't like life-threatening, or and then there's the A&E which is life-threatening. And then when she checked my heart rate, apparently it was like 154, which from my knowledge of like biology and like GCSE PE, I was like, that's really high, and I didn't think that was high, as in I didn't think that was right. But she was like, that's really high, and especially for like a 17-year-old girl, that's not right. I mean 18 by the way, that's not right. So then she was worried. She was like, yeah, you need to go to A&E like ASAP. And then I was like, oh my god, I was like panicking, and my vomit was starting to come back up again, and that was when it wasn't coming out, but like it was starting to feel like it was. So then she was about to make me step on the counter because I was feeling very dizzy, and she was like, yeah, you need to go like to the A&E side of it. And I was seeing, like, to her normally apparently it takes like an hour just to see that first person, but I was seeing within 2 minutes, so I was very lucky for that. I think it's because of my condition. They knew that I had to be seen, especially because on the letter that from the neurologist said that if anything happens I have to have an MRI scan, so they knew that it was quite severe, that these symptoms were happening. And she was like, oh yeah, you're going to be seen by a doctor soon as well, because you need to make sure you're treated quickly. And then we sat back down. Oh, by the way, Saturday night on A&E, it was so loud, it was crazy. Like, the NHS, you can just tell how much strain the doctors and nurses were. Like, even when that nurse, when she was serving me, this guy came and started shouting at her, and then she was like getting angry. She was like, can you not see this young girl's like in pain? She's literally like in pain, feeling dizzy. You can see that she's literally about to vomit. Her heart rate's high. Like, you shouldn't be butting in our conversation, blah blah blah. And it was just crazy. And then there was these 2 people having an argument, and one was like, in the hospital, you stole my beer, and the other one was like, you stole my £900 phone. And it was just a crazy experience, and it was just so weird. And then me and my dad obviously sat back down, and then I really wanted energy and Lucozade, because obviously I've lost a lot of nutrients throughout the last 2 days, and literally everything I ate, it's so gross, but I'm not going to say any of it, but literally everything I ate had come out. And obviously I knew that water would come out, but I really needed some glucose and energy, so I had a sip of Lucozade and that was okay. And then I was seen by another nurse, but it's not a nurse, I feel like it's like an F1 doctor, I think, if that's what it's called, where you kind of like, they're not a nurse, they're just probably, I think, one higher up. And she said to me that, yeah, because of the vomiting and stuff like that, it links to my condition. So she was like, I need to put you on a drip and give you medicines and stuff like that to make sure that while you're waiting for the doctor that you're actually getting the fluid and stuff like that, because we don't want you to be in a state later on where you're gonna faint, and obviously you don't want that to happen. So then she made me have like an IV, and so obviously I had to get the cannula in, and the guy had to do it twice because apparently there was not enough blood coming out, which was annoying. But it was quite funny because he was just like, you're so calm for having it done, because there were people before me which I had seen who were like older people who were like screaming and stuff like that, but I was like, I've had it done so many times that I'm used to it. And then when he did that, she came back to me and she gave me some like different medicines. I don't really know what they were for. One was like potassium and sodium, I think, and then the other one was something to help with the abdominal pain. And then there's something I think she gave me anti-sickness, and there was something to help with like, energy, like glucose and stuff like that, just to help rebuild the stuff that I've lost. And then she was like, you're gonna have to wait for a bit for that to all go in. And she was like, obviously you've got low blood pressure, but that's understandable since you've lost a lot of nutrients and stuff like that, and hopefully your heart rate should come down. But that was probably due to the panic and like anxiety and stuff that I had while I was at the hospital earlier on. So she sent me back out to the area where the whole chaos of the people arguing and stuff like that. But as soon as she sent me back out, she called me back in and she took me to a separate area where there was actually like 2-3 people. So thankfully she did that, because it was quiet, it was less stressful, and it was an environment that I was like okay in, because the other one was too much. Like, it was so packed and I just didn't like it. And over that, I literally had to wait quite a while for the fluids to get down me, and they kept checking to make sure I was okay. Like, my dad was obviously next to me the whole time. And can I just say, throughout this whole time, my mum did not know any of this. Oh god, it was so funny. So my mum obviously was away, but we didn't want her to worry, because obviously she would have come straight home, and we obviously didn't want that, and we knew it'd get sorted out anyway. And my mum must have been thinking that we were going out for dinner in London, we were having a nice time, just chilled, and obviously that did not happen. So my dad, obviously we did not tell her, and she was coming home on Sunday, so we were like, we're gonna wait for her. But during that time I was like sleeping, my dad was just walking around like in the hospital, then I was like waking up on and off, because obviously I had slept that whole day on and off, so I wasn't so tired. But I tried as much as I could, and then the doctor saw us and she did loads of tests as well, like quite a lot of the same neurology tests. And then what was quite funny is that she had to speak to a consultant, because we had, one thing that I was so glad that my dad did was bringing all my hospital letters with us. And if you have a condition or something like that and you need to go to the hospital, it's the best thing to do, because then they'll realise that if it's urgent you need to be seen quickly. And to be honest, we didn't know how urgent my condition was, because at the end of the day, obviously if there's another person that's obviously more life-threatening, obviously I'm like, you need to go see them. But at that time apparently I was in that position where they knew I needed to be treated because of the stuff happening with the brain and stuff like that. So the doctor had to, and the consultant had to actually Google my condition because of how rare it was, which was quite funny. Because she came back and she was like, the reason she took long because she had to consult the consultant about, like, she didn't know much about my condition, and she was like, we need to do a CT scan to make sure there's nothing there, and that it's not like something we need to do emergency treatment or anything like that, because she was like, it looks like you're looking much better. And I was, thankfully, after the medicine and stuff they gave. And she literally just did a few more tests, and she was like, you need to go to a CT scan. And I've never had a CT scan before, and obviously I've got an MRI in 3 to 4 weeks time, and she was like, we still want to do a CT scan now just to be on the safe side. So we went to the CT scan, and I don't know if anyone's had it before, but like, I'm sure maybe one of you have had it before if you're watching, but they have to give you this small dye, and the dye felt so weird. It was like really hot, and it was like, it flushes down to like your thighs, and it was just so weird. And yeah, it was so odd, like the feeling of it. And then yeah, it was just really odd, and it just felt really hot, and it apparently makes your blood vessels like show up more. And because I've learned about this in psychology, I was like, oh, it makes sense. And I had to have like 2 CT scans, one without it, one with. And then when that happened, we just had to wait for the results, and then we were put into another room where we had to wait like for ages, because they still were checking to make sure my blood pressure and heart rate and everything was okay, which was good because it was going down. Like, my heart rate went from 154 to like 80, which was actually really good because that's like within the normal range, and my blood pressure was like perfect. And when I had my blood test done, they said that that was all good, because we thought I would have like low iron, but they said that that was okay. And then we were still resting, making sure everything was okay, and it was probably about 6 o'clock, I would say. The doctor came round and said my CT scan was great. She said there was nothing to worry about, but she still said, I need an MRI, which was obviously in 3 weeks time. So she said don't cancel that because an MRI is more detailed. So she was like, I'm sure it will be clear, but it just needs to be done on the safe side. And then she just took my cannula out, which hurt even more than getting in because it's so sticky and it was just so annoying. And then she just said I just need to keep resting for the next few days, which I am. I haven't really gone to school. And yeah, then yesterday I had to see the GP, who, funny enough, I was meant to make an appointment last week to talk about the neurologist and stuff. So we were like 2 in 1 because we had to see the GP anyway. And she said that yeah, it's best to still have the MRI scan in 3 weeks time and to still have my neuro test in January. But yeah, basically that was the story of the trip to A&E, and we didn't get home till like 6:30 in the morning, I would say. So yeah, it was a very hectic day. And then, oh yeah, on the Sunday my mum came home, so I was at my neighbour's house. Oh yeah, this was another funny thing. This is such a long video, I apologise, but so Bhavna, my neighbour, she messaged me the night before, like, oh, we're going to do the puzzle and stuff, but I told her obviously I'm very ill and that I'm in hospital and that I'm not going to be able to do it because we've been trying to do a new puzzle for ages and we just never had the time. And Sunday morning, I think we were messaging and I was like, oh yeah, I'll come over for breakfast because the doctor's like, I need to slowly build up my appetite. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to go for a bit of fresh air and like a new environment because the other day I was stuck at home the whole day. And they were like, she's having pancakes. I was like, oh, I might have some. So I was like, I'll come over. And by the time I went upstairs and came downstairs, I felt really lethargic and my dad was out and I was so tired that I went into my living room and I fell asleep. And my neighbour obviously was probably really worried because I wasn't replying and she had kept ringing me, but I just straight fell asleep because I was so tired. And my phone was obviously on silent because I was sleeping. And my 2 neighbours, they both have a set of keys because I always forget my keys at home. And the neighbour, Bhavna's, the keys that she had, I had them at home because I needed them last week because I'd forgotten them and I'd forgotten to give them back. So then she had to go to my other neighbours, and then luckily she was home and they had my keys. So they all came, obviously I was asleep, and they all came into my house. And then they woke me up and they were like, oh my god, are you okay? And I was like, oh my god, yeah, like, sorry. I was like, I was so tired and lethargic. And then she was like, oh look, just come to my house and then just chill at my house for a bit and just have like lots of energy drinks and stuff like that. So I went there for a bit, and my mum still wasn't back from her like weekend away, and I had a bit of pancakes and that was okay. And then we went upstairs to her room to like watch a Christmas film, which we had both fallen asleep. And then my mum rang me and she was like, oh, where are you? Why do you sound really tired and like ill and stuff? And bearing in mind she didn't know any of it, she was like, why are you not picking the home phone? And I was like, oh, I'm at Bhavna's house. And she was like, oh, what are you doing there? And she was like, how come you're not at home? And we were like, oh, we're just chilling. We were just watching a movie and had breakfast here and stuff. And then she was just like, oh, make sure the house is clean, blah blah blah, because my uncle was coming as well because he dropped her home. And then I was like, oh yeah, that I didn't tell her this, but the house hasn't been cleaned for the last 2 days because we were like obviously on the hospital, like we were both very, like my dad's looking after me, like nothing was done, and my mum was very particular about the house being very clean. And then she was like, oh, she's coming home in 5 minutes. So I was like, I need to get home. And then she knocked on my neighbour's door where I was at, and she was like, oh yeah, I need the keys. So I've got my neighbour's keys. So she was like, why have you got the neighbour's keys and blah blah blah. So I was just like, oh, I forgot it or whatever. And then when we came home, she was looking around and she was like, this house doesn't look very clean. And that's when I was like, so I showed her, what did I have? Not like a plaster / bandage, whatever, to like from the blood that they took out. I'd kept that, and then I was like, I basically explained the whole story in the passageway, and then that's when she was so shocked. And oh my god, her reaction was priceless. I so wish I had got it on camera or something. I shouldn't be laughing, but she, oh bless her, she was just so like, oh my god, because I asked her how her weekend was. She was like, oh my god, I had the best time, like spending time with everyone, it was so lovely, we really chilled. And then when I told her about my story, and she was like, oh my god, I cannot believe that happened. So she was like, you need to tell me everything. Like, she was like, why would you not tell me? Like, is everything okay? Like, she was completely shocked. And she was like, how did this happen? Because we were like, we don't know. She was like, did the doctor say anything? What's happened? She was like, how's your CT scan? Like, did they say anything came up? And we were like, no, it was all okay. And yeah, that was basically it. And then obviously my uncle was there, and then he left after a while. And then after that I was just resting the whole day, and that was on Sunday. And then yesterday my dad obviously took the day off too, and I was just resting as well. And today's Tuesday and I'm still resting. I thought I would film this and upload it for tomorrow, just to let you guys know. But I'm slowly recovering, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say, but I hope you kind of enjoyed this video. I thought I would just upload it, and yeah, now I'm laughing about it. I know that like everything will get better, and it has. Like, the worst thing has happened, obviously the whole A&E stuff, but at least I'm better now, and that's the main thing. And that worse things could have happened, and you just got to take stuff positively, and that I'm better. And that's why I keep laughing. I feel like when I was telling my friends, they were like, how are you laughing about this? But I was like, you know what, at the end of the day, the reason first, I just find it funny because of the whole casualty thing. How I was just watching that, and how my mum didn't know, and yeah, it was just like very an unusual experience. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I shall hopefully see you next time. I'm hoping if we still do go to Barcelona, which I'm sure we will do, I'm gonna probably vlog that, and probably won't film like Storytime because my exams are in like a week, which I'm not prepared for, so don't really know how that's gonna happen. Because I'm gonna still revise, but I'm gonna take it so easy. Like, I'm not gonna do too much, I'm not gonna strain my eyes. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time. Bye.